Hello everyone, I'm Charles, or Doc Watson, or Doc Woziders in Second Life. I'm going to do a workshop talking about guitar. I've been playing guitar for a long time, half a century. Let's see, okay. We'll start with this one. It's a really nice little portable instrument that can, well, what have we got? It's made by Martin and Co., established in 1833, and it's actually manufactured in Mexico by the Martin people, and it's really lightweight. It's just a couple of kilos, easy to pop in the bag or take it as hand luggage, and it's nicely designed, mahogany base and neck, spruce top, and everything you need in a guitar. So I'll show you some other instruments. I'll just have a look at the slide screen. We've got, this is an important issue, the action. You don't want the strings too high off the board. You can see the 6th string is sitting on the 12th fret, but the 5th string is just hanging above it, and so the distance of those you can see is 2 millimeters, which is a nice sort of action. It's not too far to push down, and so this is the nice action guitar that I like to use in the studio because it's got flat round strings, really easy to play. When I started, I played the double bass in the played standing up. I was one of the tallest kids at school, so they gave me the double bass. No frets on a double bass, but the tuning is an exact octave below the bottom 4 strings on a standard guitar, and so is a bass guitar, same tuning. I'll just talk a bit about tuning now. We've got, these are basic chords here. You need to know, I like key of C. You should learn most and G. They're easy chords, use them a lot. So this is standard tuning. Orchestras tune to 440 Hertz as a 4, either on an oboe or the lead violin, and then the whole orchestra tunes up to them. It wasn't always, and some orchestras like to tune a bit higher. For guitar, you drop down 2 octaves and you've got the 5th string A, which is half of 440, which is 100. Let's have a look at this slide. Yeah, so we've got 110 for the 5th string. And with equal temperament, you have equal distance between each of the semitones. So the 6th string, the ratio between the 6th and the 5th is the same as the ratio from the 5th to the 4th, because you've got -5 semitones and +5 semitones. So it's the same frequency ratio. And we use equal temperament because if you change the key, you still have equal temperament. Everything's the same distance from its adjacent notes. So we'll have a look now at perfect tuning. We still use the reference of 110 hertz for the A string, but notice the E strings dropped to 82.5, and it was 82.41. Actually, it's gone up slightly in frequency, and it's barely noticeable. Probably 50% of the population couldn't tell the difference. Someone who's classically trained with perfect pitch would probably tell you there's a difference there. The problem comes when you have two tones that are very close to each other, say one at 110 hertz and another at 111 hertz, and you play them simultaneously, and you get a beating, which is the difference of the two frequencies, which is 1 hertz. So you have a whoa, 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 instead of just an even oh. And that wolf tone is very disturbing. And what happens, not only do you have the difference between the fundamentals, but you also have a difference with the harmonics, which are multiples of the fundamental, and the differences there are even bigger. So if you have something just slightly out of tune, you get wolf tones between the harmonics. And to get a really clear signal and get everything aligned, you use perfect tuning. And you have these exact ratios so that three quarters of the frequency gives you this exact one. And that means the fourth harmonic of the E string is exactly the same as the third harmonic of the A string. So they line up really nicely without the wolf tones. While we're here, I'm just going to, let's see, explain about harmonics. If you play a note like that, that's the fundamental. If I touch it halfway, that note's an octave higher. If I touch it a third the way, that note's a fifth, well, an octave and a fifth higher. If I touch it on a quarter, that quarter note harmonic, that's 2 octaves above the fundamental. And you can go even higher to the fifth. That seventh octave is actually, harmonic is actually like the seventh of the chord. And then eighth is 2 octaves above the fundamental. So that's the fundamental. And notice that that's the seventh. So the reason we like seventh chords is it's actually in part of the harmonic sequence. And if you play, say, a bugle, for example, you can make a tune with all those harmonics just on the length of the tube. So I'll go back to, here's a, what do you call it? A tuning that's commonly used. It's like the regular tuning, but we drop the bottom string to give us that nice modal exact frequencies, the 2:3 ratio and the 3:4 ratio here. And that means all the lower notes are really tight without any wolf tones, and it gives it a really smooth, harmonious tone. It's often used by musicians. For example, 4 and 20 by Steve Stills uses that. and it gives it a really nice resonance because you get the full. You can play. Four and 20 years ago, coming to this life, son of a woman and a man who lived in strife. He was tired of being poor. It gives it a much fuller feel when you have that resonance and that modal resonance in the deep notes. So pressing on, you can do for complete open tuning, which is that one. With equal temperament, you have, it's a compromise equal temperament, because if this is open D, this third, the F sharp, notice it's 185 with equal temperament, but it's 183.3, which is quite a big difference. It's over 1 hertz, 1.25 hertz, and that'll produce a wolf tone with other fundamentals. It's quite a big difference, and most people will be able to tell the difference there. So just perfect or just intonation gives you the exact ratios like we did with the drop D. So moving on from there, I want to look at a few songs and how they're played and the development of fingerstyle music. Lover Come Back to Me is a song written in 1928, and because of the copyright laws, it's in the public domain now. So anyone can play this song without having to pay royalties to the current owner. It was written by Zygmunt Romberg, who was, he wrote a lot of librettos for Broadway and other places. It debuted in Philadelphia in 1927, and then Broadway the next year. Now, I like this tune because I sang it in the school show when we were at high school. And it's, I'll just let you hear what it sounds like. Oops. The sky was blue and high above, the moon was new and so was love. This eager heart of mine was singing of where can you be. Used a lot. By famous people like Chester and Lester did a duet on this tune, and probably the two greatest guitarists of the 20th century. To hear them playing together was just it's just amazing. It's on YouTube. You can listen to it. So this is Chester or Chet Atkins, and this is the transcription by his buddy John Knowles. And what I really want to get here is see how traditional music's written as you play it on the piano, but you also have guitar tablature with numbers on the 6 different strings, and the numbers indicate the fret that you're on. And for many guitarists, it's a much easier way of reading the music. And this piece, which was made popular by Chet Atkins, has all kinds of variations, harmonics, and runs all over the place. It's all documented. You can follow it through in detail. If you want to learn this, the key is to play it slowly, just note by note. And when you get the hang of it, you just speed it up. And then you start experimenting with different things, and you get, it becomes something of your own, something completely different. I'll just do a quick, where are we? Just similar to how Chet plays it. Oops. Plays it a lot faster, and if you've never played it before or a bit rusty like me, play it slower. It sounds just as good, actually, and if you're singing along to it, slow is probably a good idea. So let's just go on with this one. That's just the second couple of bars. Here's a beautiful guitar piece by James Taylor. I've seen fire and I've seen rain. I've seen sunny days that I thought would never end. Excuse me. I should. I'm just going to take a break for a glass of water. Excuse me. Oh. Okay, and those are the chords. James Taylor has some really pretty chords. Plays beautifully. He's been a hero of mine for a long, long time. So pressing on, this is an interesting song because similar era. So, how are we going? Go back to here. Yeah, I'll just show you on the guitar. What's nice about the flat wound strings is you can slide up like that, and there's no scratching on the round wound. It's a bit of a mellow tone. It doesn't have the same richness as a round wound acoustic, but it saves all that accidental noise on the strings. Interesting thing about this song, written in about 1970, I think, published in 90. Not used to talking so much. This guy called Randy California wrote a tune called Taurus about 3 years before, and he was disgruntled that Stairway to Heaven was such a hit song, very popular, and he argued that, well, he'd written the same harmony just years before, and Led Zeppelin had stolen his idea. It ended up that the American courts, with an appeal, finally settled on the argument that the descending harmonic sequence was a stereotype, a cliche, as jazz musicians would call it. And if you look at My Funny Valentine, for example, it's got the same sequence, A with a major seventh, A with an ordinary seventh, then A6, etc. So it's actually quite a common sequence that's used in different jazz things, the C minor, major 7, etc. So, okay, before we finish, I just want to go over. I was going to talk about the history of picking too, guitar picking, because it's interesting how it evolved. There's a Baroque violin piece called the Canon in D by what's his name? Johann Pachelbel, Johann Pachelbel, and he wrote it for a Baroque string quartet, and went out of fashion through the classical era. So for 2 centuries it was totally ignored, and then it was rediscovered and set to guitar, and it plays quite nicely on guitar because it's got a simple range, and it just goes. Goes around and around and around like that, but there's a whole lot of variations on it. It gets quite complicated, but it's also become a cliche in the sense that have you seen the old girl who walks the streets of London, dirt in her hair and her clothes in rags? Or ain't no use in sitting wondering why, babe. It don't matter anyhow. It's a really nice piece of music, but it comes back to the issue with Pink Floyd stealing the progression from Taurus, the band called Spirit, I think it was. Like the harmonies, basic elements of music are standard, everyone uses them. So you can't say, well, I own this sequence because nobody else has done it. You might have a different take on it. For example, I play this as a practice. it's just a descending chromatic scale. And I do this normally as a warm-up, which I probably should have done before this workshop, to get my hands loose and agile. I'm going to bring it to a close there. No, I haven't finished actually the development, because that's your basic classical style. Your hand hangs down like that. And you can play an arpeggio with 4 fingers and a thumb. There was, for example, 100 years ago, Elizabeth Cotten wrote a tune called Freight Train. And she played actually with her thumb. She used a thumb to play the melody and the fingers to play the bass. It was standard tuned guitar, but she was a lefty and she wanted to do it that way, which is really hard to do, but she did it quite nicely. It became a standard in the folk scene, played the right way around. Sorry. And the tune goes, freight train, running so fast. Freight train, running so fast. Please don't say what train I'm on, so they won't know where I'm gone. So I showed you arpeggios with the classical thing, but there's also a claw hammer or an alternative thumb finger picking, which goes. Thumb, finger, and you always start with your thumb on the root of the chord. So start off with C, and then G. So the thumb always hits the root of the chord, and then you have bass runs go. And you also do hammer-ons, like. And a double hammer-on with 4th and 2nd string. Nearby. So I just want to close by saying, pick a tune that you like, work at it, repeat it, start off slow, just play it down as slow as you can. If you can read music, go for it, or tablature. It's a good guide to keep you going, but also use your ear, listen to other performers playing different things and decide how you want to do it, and keep practicing. So that's all from me. Be back here same time next week. Thank you.